Pew Pew Man in Buffalo, New York, 2022, used FST data or genetic clusters to claim that race is a biological construct so that he could do horrible things to people. Let's break down and explain why genetic clusters generated using FST do not support the claim that race is a biological construct. First, what is FST? FST is a measure of genetic divergence from population to population. Values range from 0 to 1, where 0 indicates very little divergence and 1 indicates very big divergence. Based on good science, FST values from over 230,000 individual genomes show that the average FST value between populations across different continents was around 0.1, while the FST value between different ethnic and racial groups was around 0.04. Essentially, if I chose any two random multi-generational Americans who is ethnically Chinese and African, they will be more genetically similar to each other than any native Chinese person living in China or native African person living in Africa. So based on FST data, if there is more differences within a racial or ethnic group and between racial and ethnic groups, then why did Pew Pew Man's data look like this? Well, there are two little issues here. The original article used a very small population of individuals who were native to Africa, which skewed the continuity of the data. Due to the diversity on the African continent, this made the data look more categorical, and that brings me to the second problem. This data was forced into a structure plot. Now, a structure plot is a program that forces data into preset categories, even if that data does not inherently represent a categorical variable. This is a huge problem because continuous variables will never be categorical, regardless of how many times you attempt to force them into a specific program like structure plot. For example, height is a continuous variable. No matter how many times you draw lines to categorize people as tall or short by height, you can always further debate about whether or not somebody actually fits into the category of tall or short. A person's height in centimeters or inches will never innately tell you whether someone is tall or short. This is why labels of tall and short are technically social constructs, because they're based off of what height that you and the society that you live in believe is tall and short, not what the numbers actually say. In contrast, blood type is a categorical variable that is a biological construct. You are either type A, AB, B, or O, with or without the rhesus factor. Blood type is a biological construct because society and your feelings will never change your blood type. It is based on the biochemical analysis of your blood performed by medical laboratory scientists. Tying this together with race, when we plot FST values without a structure plot that forces data into preset categories, the data becomes continuous, indicating that human diversity is continuous and not categorical. Some people from different racial categories are going to be more genetically similar while others will be less so. As a fascinating little tidbit, the diversity within the African continent alone can be mapped onto the diversity of the rest of the world, supporting the out of Africa theory. To explain this, when we collect FST data from large cohorts, some people from Britain and Italy are going to be more genetically similar to some native North Africans than their next door neighbors. Ultimately, when you cherry pick your cohort and force the data with limited diversity into a structure plot, you can get category-like sections. But as you can see by the corners of this graph, you can never really take away the continuity of the data that you're collecting. For this reason, race is not a biological construct like blood type, and when we combine this understanding with FST collected from larger studies, the science does not suggest that humans have clear subspecies or genetic clusters that even remotely correlate with race or ethnicity.